It's time for Dirty Story Night. This week we have Dildo Daggins Harasses, Harry Potter. Please support us at patreon.com/IABD and check out our website at IABDpresents.com. Enjoy.
A tiny golden globule slithered around the bottom of the small glass vial Harry twirled in his fingers, the slightest shimmering tail denoting its path. "Well, Felix, old friend," said Harry to the dazzling droplet, "perhaps there's just enough of you left to get me a little bit lucky." He stuck out his tongue to catch the last trace of liquid as it trickled out. He swallowed, and a familiar frisson of excitement rippled through him, albeit on a vastly smaller scale. Feeling emboldened, Harry wrapped his dressing gown around him tightly and struck out up the well-worn Weasley stairwell to Ginny's bedroom. Harry knocked gently. "Oh, Harry. Hello," she said. "Hi, Ginny," said Harry, then cleared his throat, realizing he had not thought of any pretense for paying her a visit. I was just wondering if you'd like any help studying spells." "I'd love some help studying spells," Ginny giggled, opening the door wider and allowing him in. Harry glanced around her room nervously. "So, what spells did you want help with?" Without answering, Ginny sat down atop her tattered quilt and pulled Harry down into a sensuous snog. For a few moments they kissed, Ginny's tongue flitting in and out of his mouth, their hot breath mingling. Then Harry ventured a tentative hand upward to find a soft, fleshy mound of her breast. Without disengaging from the kiss, she wrestled him down to laying next to her on the bed. Her fingers toyed with the string on his pajama bottoms for a moment before finding their way into his pants in earnest. She gasped suddenly. "Bloody hell, Harry! You're Harry!" she exclaimed, finding a much greater mass of pubic hair than she'd been anticipating. Sorry, I wrote this a while ago, and I don't remember what I wrote. My writing. Seriously, this is more tangled than Hagrid's beard. Have you ever manscaped? I never gave it much thought, I guess, said Harry defensively. I can hardly find your cock, said Ginny, reaching over to the stand to retrieve her wand, which she pointed at Harry's loins. Watch where you're aiming that thing, squealed Harry. Oh, hush, she said. Depiliatus, she declared, with a flick of her wrist. His fur fizzled away all the way down to the follicles, revealing a throbbing 9 3/4-inch cock. Wizards don't use the metric system. Wizards don't use the metric system. Ginny gasped again, impressed at his endowment. Harry lifted up the bottom of her nightgown and chuckled. That's redder than Ron's. What? Nothing. He lowered himself face down into her nether regions. I'm going to make you moan louder than Myrtle. She giggled. Better not, Harry. My parents are just upstairs. He proceeded to lick her and lick her and lick her. She was patient for a bit, but when it wasn't improving, she whined, oh, for fuck's sake, Harry, how can the youngest seeker in this century still not be able to find the clit? Well, it's not really shiny and gold, is it? And when I find the snitch, the game is finished, stated Harry. Trust me, Harry, huffed Ginny. I can finish plenty of times before the game is over. Just get on your back and let me ride you like a hippogriff. She climbed atop him, and he slipped inside her as though he'd always belonged there. You're tighter than Ron, too, Harry gasped. What? Nothing. Blimey, Ginny, did you cast a spell on your cunt? Because this feels like magic. Ginny chuckled. You want to feel something really great? I did hear about a trick. She hopped off of him, grabbing her wand from the nightstand and opening a drawer to pull out a feather. Now you get on top. Harry eagerly wedged himself between her legs and slid back inside her. Ginny pointed her wand at the feather and said, Wingardium Leviosa. But nothing happened. She cleared her throat. Wingardium Leviosa. Still nothing. Wingardium Leviosa. Hermione burst through the door, shouting, "It's Leviosa! Oh my gosh!" She covered her eyes. "Would you like to join, Hermione?" asked Harry. "No, thank you. That's disgusting. Anyway, I'm self-partnered," she retorted, keeping her eyes covered as she turned and slammed the door. Harry resumed thrusting while Jenny had lifted the feather and magically maneuvered it around to tickle Harry's taint. "Ginny, you better cut that out," Harry squeaked. "You're going to make me—" The door swung open again, this time Molly Weasley holding a tray of cocoa and biscuits. "Ginny, dear, I just wanted to know if you'd like some cocoa before—" Mrs. Weasley's eyes doubled in size as she dropped her tray. Harry leapt off the bed, hastily covering himself with the quilt. "Harry Potter!" Molly fumed. "We have shown you nothing but kindness and hospitality since your return to the wizard world, and you repay us by sticking your flesh wand in our only daughter under our roof?" Her face had flushed to a shade of magenta. "Go back to Ron's room and we'll discuss this in the morning." Needing no further prompting, Harry traded the quilt for his crumpled pants, which he clutched over his naughty bits as he sidestepped past the livid Mrs. Weasley. "And never," said Molly to her mortified daughter, "use the feather trick, Ginny. That's how I ended up pregnant with twins." Molly winked, and with a flick of her wand, she collected the scattered remnants of her cocoa service and closed the door on her way to return to the kitchen. Back in Ron's room, Harry found Ron sound asleep in his bed. Harry crawled into his own bed, feeling deeply unsatisfied. He glanced at his still erect member, noted that Ron was snoring quite loudly, and whispered to himself, "I guess it's wanking again." He stroked himself to nearly the point of climax, and realizing he was on the verge of making a mess, grabbed the closest thing off the floor to collect his cum. A sock. He grunted, shuddered, wiped himself off a bit, and tossed the sock on top of a little heap in the corner. Harry was startled as the heap moved, and in fact, picked up its pointy-eared head and examined the discarded article of clothing. "A sock!" exclaimed Dobby, beside himself with excitement. "Master has given Dobby a sock! Dobby's a freaking—" Oh.
Sensible clap.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's Got the Time?